This is the session over magnetic marketing, strategies that stick. I'm your moderator, Deidra Hamid. I'm with Waxahachie Care and excited to be here with a lot of familiar faces from the community. And we will have self-introductions with all of the wonderful panelists and get started with some of the questions that were previously submitted.
Hi, I'm Casey Ballard. Good to see so many familiar faces here. I have been here in Ellis County for about 18 years. I currently work with 1558 Brand Agency. We are a local marketing firm. Before that, I was with the United Way of West Ellis County, so there's a lot of familiar faces there. And I also used to work for Life Schools, their Director of Communications. So a lot of history in marketing communications and really nonprofit for all the nonprofits in the group as well.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Dr. Shelly Zaldivar, and I'm from Nelson University. If you've been around a while, you probably knew us as SAGU, so I always see nods after that. I'm the business department chair there. I teach in the program as well, primarily marketing. I'm the marketing coordinator. Prior to my time at Nelson, I worked for companies like Disney and Bank of America and just various marketing roles and strategy roles there. And I'm looking forward to chatting with all of you.
My name is Reyna. I'm the founder of Chase Life Marketing. Been in marketing about 15 years. When I first moved to Texas, yes, I'm a transplant, I was still doing marketing, but I also was a radio DJ. And when I was a radio DJ, I got to work with so many small business owners and extremely involved with the chamber. And it has just been a passion of mine ever since those days. And then when I left radio in 2016, I continued to accelerate the small business mission of our company. And I now lead a team of over 12 marketing professionals who help amplify the impact of our small businesses in the area.
Fantastic. Thank you, ladies. Our first question that we have is about the art of crafting storytelling, a storytelling brand. So the question is, what are simple ways to weave a brand's story consistently across marketing and customer interactions? And we'll just, anyone, it's not directed to any particular panelist, any of you or all of you can answer that. Again, the question was, what are simple ways that a company can weave their brand's story consistently across their marketing and customer interactions?
Your story is basically like your why. You know, your why is what you believe, like what you were called to do. And so you have to believe that so fully that it is in every single inch of your business. From what fonts you choose, what colors you choose, to your messaging, to how you show up, how you address your customers, how you stay connected, and how you show your heart. Your storytelling is everything, because if you don't believe your why more than anyone else in the world, why do you think your customer will receive that why? And that fuels into everything. And it is literally the personality of your brand is truly your story. And so that's why don't be afraid to share your story, because you're sharing your story is how you're going to attract the right people that you're called to help.
I'll add just a little bit to it. So the goal of obtaining customers is retaining them. So building loyalty with your customer base is critical. And the best way to do that is for them to understand, as she mentioned, your why, who you are, why you exist. If all you're doing is providing a product and your marketing is focused just on the product, then you're just telling them what you can do for them, but you're not creating a reason for them to come back over and over again. They'll support you in the hard times. They'll support you, they'll come back and purchase your product if they understand the who you are, which is really just what is your story.
Yeah, I'll echo that on branding is so important. And it's probably one of the first things we really work with new customers, and especially small businesses, startup small businesses. It is so important to the foundation of your business to start that from the get-go. And branding is not just your logo and colors, which are very important to have those, very important to be consistent with that. But like they're saying, it's who you are and it's who your people are. I'm going to say my pleasure, and we all know what that is. No one is better than Chick-fil-A at creating a consistent brand experience. And that is something that that all business owners should be considering. What can we do to make sure that our story, that who we are, is weaved into not just what we put out in the community, not just what we put out in our ads, but in our customer interactions. And so I think that's something that you want to consider from the beginning, is who is your brand?
I just wanted to add something really quick that she made me think of. Sometimes you're not the best person to tell your story. Because sometimes you know your story so well you don't think it's important, or you don't think those little pieces are critical. And that's where bringing in some help sometimes, or bringing in an outside view, or even some of your most loyal customers, and really doing some work with them. Who do you think we are? Who have you seen us be? And really building that into your story is critical.
Very good insight, ladies. The second question has to do with AI and the human element, the balancing act between AI and humans. What tasks are best left to humans versus those that AI can effectively handle? That's a good one.
I'll start. AI is a tool, and it is a tool in your toolbox. And that, for me at the time, is the best it can be. Now, we don't know what AI looks like in 10 years, but for now, it's a tool in your toolbox. And so I do use AI and content creation sometimes. For me, it's a starter. It's a good starting point. But if you're relying on AI to tell your story for you, it's just not going to happen. But it's a great place to start. It is an efficiency as well. If you learn to use it properly, it can definitely be an efficiency, and that's where we find it's not, at this stage, from what I'm seeing, it's not going to do your job for you. It's not going to do your marketer's job for you, but it can help you. It can give you some good ideas. It can help you, like I said, with a starting point, whether it's what you're writing for your marketing, or even some video. And I will tell you, I used an AI tool the other day that was truly terrible. Like, what it delivered for me, I just thought, why would anybody waste their time on this? So I say use it with caution, but I do encourage you to learn about it. I think it is a little scary, and if you're in your 40s like me and your brain is not quite as elastic as it used to be, it feels like a little bit of a hurdle to get over. But I do think it's worth learning about and how it can impact your marketing, tell your story. But it's a tool, and it should make you a little more efficient. But I would not rely on it to be your marketer.
So here's my take on AI. If you want to stay competitive, you're going to have to figure out how to incorporate AI at some point. And that scares some people, and hopefully I'll remember to say something at the end that I'll circle back on that. But here's what you don't need to be an expert at, in my opinion. You don't have to be an expert at the tool. You have to be an expert, or you have to become as good as you can be at creating prompts. I can use the best tool, and if my prompt, which is what you put into AI to tell it what you want to do, if that's not clear and it's not specific and you haven't created it in a way, because AI is doing the work for you. But if you just tell it, and I'll give you an example. If I have a business, a small business, and I say, create a marketing plan for my business. I want this, 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 this. Well, guess what AI is going to do? It's faithfully going to create a marketing plan for whatever you have said you're doing, and that's what's going to come out. You're going to be just like everybody else who asked that same question in your same world. But if I say, I'm trying to think of a realtor, I just met a new realtor friend over here. So if I have a realty business and I put into AI, I have a realty business in Waxahachie, Texas. My customer base is X amount. My target market, in other words, the people I want to serve, are within the ages of this and this, and they have incomes of this and this. Now, give me ideas for an ongoing blog that I can post on wherever, or give me ideas for Instagram, including hashtags, or what that specific is now, because the more you tell about your business, the more you tell about what you want, the more you're going to get good information out of it. It's just a tool. And yes, there's all the scary stuff of it's going to take over the world and all those things. Don't worry about that. Just become good, practice, and if you're going to watch videos in your little bit of time, watch how to create good prompts. The other little, and this is a little bit of a shameless plug, but, find somebody who's really coming out of coming into their career brand new. In other words, really young professionals, especially maybe somebody who's studied marketing, and bring them on even just a little bit to do some of this stuff for you, because guess what they've been spending all their time doing? TikToking and, doing all the things that none of us, most of us don't have time to do. And you can find those. You can find them at universities like us. We do internships every single semester. And if you just catch me, I'll give you my information. We send out a survey. And if you want somebody to help you do those little things, and of course, I don't ever want to take away from the brand agencies. These guys are the big guns. But if you just need a little bit of help for a semester to get you going, we can, look for somebody who's kind of young in that.
I'm going to echo as well. But with that being said, like she said, the prompt is everything, right? I was in a meeting the other day with one of our clients with their sales team, and we were talking about like a difficult customer that they were dealing with, right? So you create that avatar within ChatGPT and help develop that unique selling proposition that's going to speak to them, right? So you can actually like upload your document, like here's what I'm looking at, like this is this guy, he's, this is his personality type, and how can I best speak to him in a way that's going to resonate? Now, going back to speaking to people, have you ever had opportunity when you're just like responding to an email and you're rapid firing like that monkey gif, and it's like, you're like, oh, I can't send this, right? Put that into ChatGPT and say, okay, can you ease this tone a little bit for me? Like, little less passive aggressive, more, polite. So don't like hesitate for that. And then also, lastly, like we have some clients that are here today that integrate a web chat into their website, and then the AI agent helps speed the lead, as we call it. And so that's just so valuable, because today's society, like people have such a short attention span, like they might have just opted into something, but if you don't get them right away and say, hey, it's us, we're here for you, they're gonna forget. So I think that like AI chat agents are really great, but please, for the love of God, do not do your logo on AI, because your embroidery companies and your branding and all of us, we're gonna be like, we can't use this. There's no layers to this, people, so.
Okay, great. The next question is in the category of building your digital Rolodex. Why you need an email list? How can a business use email marketing to build relationships and not just drive sales?
I love this. Okay. So, yes, we know social media is a necessary evil, right? But your social media should always springboard to your website, which should convert, right? Your email list is everything. You do not own your social media followers. And a lot of people have been hacked. A lot of people have had the rug pulled out from under them, and they're like, how am I going to reach my customers? If you are relying on your social media followers for your business, you are putting yourself at jeopardy. Severe jeopardy. So owning your email list is everything. Your website should have a lead capture where you show up and add value, and then they get on your list and you continue to add value and you show up with an offer. It's like a slow drip campaign. So email is everything. Email allows you to really get to know and build relationships based upon the messages you deliver in their inbox. What their behavior is on your email can send them down other workflows where you can really channel and funnel them into the offer that is custom to them. So you're automating, but it's feeling like a personal, because it's their, again, prompts or clicks that are taking them down those avenues. So email is everything, and if you don't have email, please get email marketing.
I agree 100%. Email has the highest rate of actual conversions of anything you can use. And that's surprising to me, because I get so many emails that I'm like, surely that's not working. And then I think about, oh yeah, well, I absolutely bought this off the email I got, So my behaviors support this, but email is the highest conversion rate. So if you're sleeping on emails, don't. And just what she said, social media is your tool to collect that first party data, right? Social media is your tool to collect those emails. So when they're following you, you don't have their email, they're just following you. So you need to create some strategies that will encourage them to give you their email and their phone number, because text also has high conversions. So we do a lot of things like lead magnets. Lead magnets are everything. You're offering them something for free. You're either giving them a lead magnet on social media, or you're doing it on your website, your landing page, but you've got to convert to get those email addresses, because then you can target those customers. And like she said, you can segment those customers. You're not just putting all of your customers into one email list and they get the same information. How did they find you? Are they one of your customers from your farmer's market? Okay, well, they're going to get a different set of emails. Are they strictly an online ordering customer? Okay, then they're going to get a different set of emails. Email is brilliant, and these tools that are out there, the MailChimps and the Constant Contacts, have really done a great job of creating workflows to automate this for you. You're not sending an email every day. You are automating it. You're setting it up once, and it works for you. So again, this is where you're creating efficiencies. But if you are not collecting and owning your own data, then you are missing out on how you actually will convert your customers.
And I'm just going to throw in a little tiny wrench. I agree with everything they've said until we get to Gen Z and Gen A. Gen Z does not like email. And I know this because I send them really important emails all the time. I say to them, have you read your email? And they're like, how do I get to that again? So we're trying to teach them. We're really trying to teach them. And there may be a switch, but what my recommendation is because it is the best converter, is you have to give them a reason to want to be in their email. And so guess where they all are? TikTok. So then that has to lead to a conversion, which is to get their email address and give them something for it. Once you can get them engaged, then your emails will be the ones they'll look for. But I'm just going to throw that little bubble out there that I think we're working on it, and maybe we'll fix it in time when they're all, adulting with their own money. And no offense to any Gen Zers that are already doing that, but I will just tell you the majority of the younger side of Gen Z, they just are very anti-email, and so you've got to have that connection point for give them a reason.
She actually just made me feel so much better as a parent that my kid doesn't check their email. So I appreciate that. But I think too, with that, texting is the other tool that will work for that generation. And so and texting can operate the same way as email, with automations and workflows and things like that. So that is, and then of course TikTok Shop, which we're not in, but I guess all should be in because my credit card's in there all the time.
Just make sure when you're texting, you cannot just start bulk texting. There is compliance. You have to file for all that. So just make sure you don't get yourself in a pickle by not following compliance when it comes to email and texting. You can't just add someone to your list. They have to opt in. So that's where that offer, that lead magnet, that ebook. I love digital quizzes on websites, something like that, that helps funnel them onto the list.
And don't discount the parent role for Gen Z, because Gen Z is kind of traditionally, a lot of them, taking longer to break away from kind of what the parents are advising. I mean, I don't know about some of y'all, but I hit 18 and I was like, whoo, bye, But Gen Z, they're a little slower to kind of break that away. So if you're marketing to that age group, don't discount the fact that those parents have some value in that conversation as well.
Last thing I'll add on that is success leaves clues. So if you are a local small business and you admire a larger business that maybe is all across the United States or whatever, look at what they're doing from their email marketing and even just in general in their marketing. And success leaves clues. Make it your own. Don't copy. But emulate the successful ways that they have been able to scale their business.
Great. I was taking notes. So here we have the next category, which is authenticity in marketing. How can authenticity help small businesses stand out, especially against bigger competitors?
I think it goes back to your brand and telling your story that we've talked about. You are what makes your small business unique. And so again, we're talking about scrolling. You have so little time to capture people's attention. It used to be 8 seconds. Now I think it's 0.2 or something ridiculous how long you have before someone is on to the next thing. And so when you think about authenticity, think about what makes you special and what a customer will resonate with either who you are or what your story is or why you're offering what you offer. And knowing who your customer is really an important piece of this as well, because then you know what it is they want to know from you. So we build out personas and all of those things. One of the biggest questions I think you should be asking is, what is a problem your customer has that you can solve? And how can you genuinely solve that problem? It's much easier to market something that someone needs than to market something that someone doesn't know they need and you're convincing them they need it, right? And so if you're really considering about what is a problem they have and how can you authentically solve that, that's a much easier sale. That's a much easier conversion than convincing someone you have something they need.
Yeah, absolutely. And with back to AI for a minute, you can create those personas in AI and help them build out accordingly. But, recently, one of my clients, one of our local total wellness centers, Texas CryoWorks, we were building out segmented ad campaign to target anti-aging facial, right? And like Casey's saying, like, what are those things that they're concerned about? Well, it's a saggy jaws, it's a crow's feet, and so forth. So instantly on that hook, because like Casey said, you have that short attention span, instantly she's asking, hey, are you concerned about your saggy jaws or crow's feet? So you're instantly grabbing their attention. So a second thing I'd like to say about this is, if you are someone who is trying to leverage social media for the growth of your business and you are not part of the social media and you're expecting to, I'll be the first one to tell you, my team knows we lead with people. We do not lead with tons of graphics and stuff like that because nobody wants to see nobody opens up their app and asks, I wonder who's going to advertise to me today. No, they want to be engaged with. And sincerely, post-COVID, we are so starving for connection, and it's a lonely world. Some people, maybe social media is their main point of connecting to the outside world, which sounds weird because it's through an app, but you know what I mean? Being a part of and not being afraid to get in front of the camera. So when your marketing teams come into your offices and you hide from their cameras, I want you to step into that light and be brave with your story. And because like Casey said, you know that what you have can truly change somebody's life. And if it doesn't make you choke up with tears about your purpose, like it did my friend Wendy the other day, you gotta be asking yourself those hard questions of, how can I accelerate my impact?
Okay, let me ask you a question. How many of you, when you opened your phones today, went on social media? Just be honest. Just any social media, okay? How many of you realize you've already been marketed to anywhere between 5 to 50 times just this morning? And that doesn't even mean that it looked like marketing. In fact, the best marketing doesn't look like marketing. And I think small businesses are positioned the best compared to major corporations to really have a conversation on marketing with their potential clients and their current clients. You have to know, and I think it's been mentioned, you really have to know who your ideal customer is, and we call that building a buyer persona or persona. And if you haven't done that part, that's really important because it helps you. Now, if I just say, okay, I'm talking to 35 to 50-year-old women who are concerned about aging, everybody got a picture in their mind. But if we build a specific persona and I say, I'm talking to Becky, and Becky lives in the middle of Waxahachie. She has 3 teenagers. I know, right? She's going all the time. She has a full-time job, and she volunteers with the chamber, and she does all these things, and she literally has about 20 minutes in the morning to get the kids out the door, and she has about 2 minutes to do her own personal, even though she wishes she'd get up early every morning. Can you all picture? Oh, and let me help. Becky is a Hispanic woman, and she's got long dark hair, and she really just has this beautiful smile. Can you picture a Becky now? Could you have a potential conversation in building marketing with Becky compared to all these 35 to 50-year-old women? So becoming very specific and picturing who you're talking to makes a big deal. And back to the authenticity, we've all been on social media, and as much as we like to pretend like we love it all, we're all afraid of the algorithm, right? If you stay on something too long or you accidentally touch it, it's going to show up 22 times in the next 2 hours. That's not an accident. That's what they build. So for them to stop, here's kind of what I see, and they can tell me if they see it as well. It needs to be a story. It needs to be personal. People love behind the scenes. So if you make a product or you do a product, have that quick behind the scenes. It needs to have sometimes just something you kind of we kind of do like a 5 thing, like, tell, show, tell, sell, laugh. And so it needs to have variety, because if you're coming on every single time saying the same thing, scroll, 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 scroll.
I'll add to that people will buy from brands who care about the things that you care about, that they care about. That they care about. And so therefore, being involved in having local nonprofits that you serve on, that you volunteer on, and showing that is so critical, because you have to show your heart. And that's the attraction marketing piece as well. And then the other thing that I think is relevant is making sure that when you are showing up authentically, that you don't try to look perfect. Like, look how they would come in every day and greet you. And if you're a realtor who is going to run over and open a door to their next dream home, if you are in your running clothes, well, go in your running clothes. Like, don't try to force to be something you're not. Like, own who you are. And back to what she said about the behind the scenes piece, a lot of times businesses wait till their doors are open to start marketing to the public. No, take them on the journey. Take them on the journey behind the scenes of what's taking place and how it's curating and getting their feedback. Is this something, what color do you think I should go for? They want to be a part of that. People, because then they're bought in, and then they're going to feel part of your brand already before your doors are even open.
The next question is, where should your brand be? How can a business determine which platforms, whether it be social media, email, video, etc., are truly worth their time? Small businesses often have limited budget, so which area is truly worth their time?
Yes to all, no, and no to all. This is where it is so important that you know who your customer is. You have to know who your customer is. You have to know where your customer is. You have to know where your customer receives their information. So when we go back to building personas, this is a big piece of building a persona, is just like she said, Becky. Okay, where's Becky getting most of her information? Is she getting it in that 5-minute scroll while she's sitting in the carpool line? Is she getting it from a community newsletter? Where is Becky getting her information? But you have to know that about your customer, and you can't guess that about your customer. One of the best ways to build a growing customer base is to start with your current customer base, right? Those are your people. Ask them. Surveys are widely overlooked within your own customers. You can get so much valuable information about how your customers are getting information from you. Where are they buying from? Where are they buying from when they're not buying from you? What are those questions you should ask? And you can't answer this question until you answer that question. And so once you know where your customers are, yes, as small businesses, you absolutely have to prioritize, and not all strategies are right for you. Not all strategies are necessary for you. Google Ads may not be right for you if people aren't searching for your service, right? So you have to know who your customer is, what is their problem, and where are they consuming their information. And that's where you would start.
Yeah, I think that is really, Casey touched on something that if you look at someone else and they're like, well, they do all this and I should be doing this because they're doing this. No, you shouldn't be. Your strategy should be custom to you. It is not one size fits all in marketing. And because you have yes, we have how many realtors in Ellis County, but there's only one Jamie Eagleson, and there's only one Fritz and things like that. So it's one of those things where, you knowing that, and like she said, showing up where they are. I will say, because they said to organically go in directions, I wanted to share that there is so much noise in the digital ecosphere that I believe that traditional methods of communication are opening up. So if you are having an event or something like that, don't, like she said, expect to just land in the email that might not get opened. Send invites, pick up the phone, like have connections. Like with the existing customers, have them be your quote unquote street team. Say like, hey, I know that we've impacted you with these services. Would you mind, do you have like 3 to 5 friends that we can offer like a discount for them to come in as your friend and family? We'd love to, help more people. And you as consumers out there, and don't gatekeep what you know. If you know, help a small business owner out and share that. The best way to get support for your small business is to give support. For example, the necklace I'm wearing, I bought it from the Flower Factory. It was made by a local artisan named Claire that Jamie gave a platform to share her business, which brings her circle of influence when she says, hey, you can pick up my stuff at the Flower Factory. So it's all about those circles of influence and tapping in and bringing them in from an authentic nature.
So I just want to encourage you. You can sit here and you can listen to all of this, and it can be very easy to get overwhelmed. The three of us, we live, breathe, marketing and trying to stay on top of everything. You don't have time for that, most likely. So my recommendation is it's one of 2 things with a little warning. One is pick one thing. Pick one thing that you don't hate. So if you hate TikTok, don't do it, because it's going to become like a grudgery where you don't want to do it and you're not putting the time into it. If you love blogging, then you've got to figure out, does that fit with your people, and why would they go there? They'd have to go there for a reason that works for them. So find something that fits your client base, but also is something you enjoy doing. If you just don't have time, then marketing is one of the most important areas to put aside a little bit of budget for. And whether it's going to an agency or doing something where you're just, getting somebody part-time. But let me give you just a little bit of, can I just give you a little bit of a warning? Everybody 20 and under thinks they are a social media expert. They're not. So vet them. They should, if they are coming to you and saying, hey, I can save the day and I can do this, you ask them for a portfolio of what they've accomplished. I want you to be able to spend your money wisely, but it doesn't mean you've not hit a mark if you have to bring somebody in to do that piece, because it's just not your thing. That will be well spent money in the long run. But if you choose to keep it in-house, just do something you can enjoy.
She tapped on blogging, and blogs are not dead for SEO standpoint, as well as the longer readability with blogs, a longer shelf life. You can give it, you can take it to Pinterest and have it live longer for you. Pinterest is a search engine; it's not a social media tool, so it's not just for your holiday decorating. So yeah, and with that being said, not all social media is good social media. I know a lot of you might be like, well, I don't want to dance in front of the camera, and I don't want to do this audio or that audio. I said recently to one of my friends that we don't follow trends, we set them. But if we're going to use a trending audio that is relevant, it needs to tie into the message and what you're offering. I will say that if you use some of those audios and let's say you go viral, you have 100,000, how many of those 100,000 are actually going to walk into your brick and mortar? Put your energy and effort and your money where it is best spent, where you're going to get the best long-term investment or ROI.
And just a funny note, I don't know about some of you, but I've always known Pinterest as like decor and holiday decorations. And I'm always shocked by my students, honestly, because I'm walking down the aisle of class one day and there's this whole group of guys on Pinterest. And I was like, what are you doing? They love Pinterest. I'm just telling you. Yes. I don't know. It's a generational thing apparently, but they build different things and they use it for their own social media. So I was, something to study.
Yeah, I think the last point of that is You do need to dedicate some of your budget towards marketing, though. Whether you hire an agency, whether you hire a contractor, whether you hire an expert to do one piece for it, or whatever it is, learn it yourself. I mean, learn how to do Google Ads yourself, but you need to spend, industry standard is 5 to 8% on marketing. If you're growing, it's like 10 to 20%. It's not fluff. It's not just making things look pretty. It should directly influence your bottom line. You should have an ROI on your marketing strategies, but it's something a lot of times people are scared of because they don't necessarily know how to do it, and it's always the first thing to get cut and the last thing to get added, but it has the most ability to really influence your bottom line.
I was just going to say, I remember this during the Great Depression. There was this with Post and Kellogg. I think that it was Kellogg or was it Post? I can't remember which one it was. One of them stopped advertising during the Great Depression, and the other one came out on top. And I think it was Post. It was Post, yeah. So, I mean, no offense to Kellogg if you're watching, but
Okay,
spend money to make money.
that's true. That's very true. We have only about 10 more minutes left in this session, so I'm going to open it up to the audience. I do still have some pre-questions if you don't have any, but if any of you out there have some questions about what's been discussed or you have something that we have not touched on as of yet, the microphone is moving about the room and we'll take those questions now.
This was very good. Thank you so much. So I was wanted to ask, why is a website important if everyone she already knows it, is going to social media? So why do I need a website if most of their time is going to be spent on social media?
Your website is your hub of information. It's not where you're going to lead people. It's not, people aren't going to find your website first, typically, unless you're running Google Ads. It's a hub. It's a hub of information. It's where you're going to drive people from social media. It's where your Google Ads are going to drive from. It's where if you're doing print advertising, whatever it is, you've got to have a hub of information. You cannot put everything that somebody needs to know about you in a post. Now through Instagram, you have the ability to have like link trees and give you, multiple links out. But your website is still your hub. It's still how people find you, and it's how you can really collect that data, like we talked about, owning that data. Blogs are really important just for SEO purposes. Nobody's reading 1,000-word blogs about you, but if you have a blog about something you provide or a problem you solve and people are just trying to solve that problem, they're going to find you. You just don't have the same ability to put the kind of content that you need to share just through your social media. For the most part, there are exceptions to that rule. I do believe there are exceptions to that rule, but for the most part, I think it's your hub of information.
Yeah, it's definitely your digital business card, and it's how you establish further that like, know, trust factor. That post might have given them that attractability, but the website, is where, like we said, you have that strategy to bring them in and share, and a lot of times it's, stuff where they can do a deeper dive on you and your services and what you offer. And yes, for SEO, for rankings and so forth. And it's a necessity, and but done right is the key. There are a lot of websites that I come across that, maybe somebody tried to DIY. Work with someone with intentionality to really have the site map that'll be the customer journey that is needed, right? And every page should flow to either, definitely you should be asking multiple times on a page, like, that conversion, but every page should go with intentionality to the other section within your website to really, that all goes back down to that contact and so forth. So there's, and lead with video. I love video headers. We nearly every website we build, we are like doing a videography header, because videos, again, it's that instant feel and energy of what you are bringing and what your services are.
Your website it's kind of like your home. It's the landing place. It's your safe place, and it's the thing you have the most control of in the digital space. You may feel like you have control of your social media, but that can be wiped out from under you if you get hacked, if Instagram or whoever decides they don't like your content, if the algorithm changes. All these things you don't have control of, And if somebody just gets angry with you, there's so much risk on social media, not to not do it, but the fact is you want to have the place, you want to be sending them. All social media is doing is it's kind of like the old school commercials or newspaper ads or whatever. It's sending you to the place. So you have to have a place.
I think too, it gives legitimacy to your business. If people are wanting to know about you and they go to you and you don't have a website, they're going to have questions about your legitimacy just because of the nature of where we are in the digital world and it's standard. And so if you don't have it, it's what sets you apart, but not in a good way, right?
Well, and with that legitimacy also comes like backlinking from other directories which help with your SEO. So for example, if you're a chamber member in Waxahachie, which please become one, it's incredible and attributes so much to my growth as a business, you have a profile on there that links back to your website. So again, that credibility, and we call it backlinks in like the SEO. And I know SEO is like the Bermuda Triangle of marketing, but I promise there's a method to the madness.
And for anybody who doesn't, I'm the teacher here, so I've got to explain all the things, right? But so SEO is search engine optimization. Your goal is to be on that first page as high as you can be when it's specific enough about your topic. And all of that happens with these little crawlers and things that you're doing out on the website. So that's why it's important, because you need to have that happening all the time.
Yeah, y'all may have said something about this earlier. For certain occupations, is there a most effective platform like Instagram, Facebook, whatever? That say I'm a real estate agent, I don't have a lot of budget to put into marketing. Is there one specific platform you say that seems to work well for real estate agents? The other thing, there used to be something called Hootsuite that once you posted something, it would fan it out to all of the different platforms. Is that still available?
I was going to say, what you want to do is you want to figure out where your customers and potential customers are. So if for real estate, I mean, from what I've seen just in those that we've worked with, a lot of them, they're not going to slow down enough on Instagram, but they are typically, because of the home buying age, are typically on Facebook right now. However, getting in somebody's Facebook feed is more difficult. So you almost have to be in two places with it leading to wherever you're posting. We've all seen the postings with the houses and, all the little icons and all of that stuff. Well, what stops you? The pictures. It's really about the visuals. And that's where I would say probably those two. Now, if you're targeting kind of the up and coming, younger generation that's just starting to be in the home buying, then they're going to be on different social media. So you really need to know, who do you want to serve? And that's where you want to go.
Thank you, ladies. I had questions about, you talked about lead magnets and ebooks and things to build that email list. If you all have any more tips or thoughts around how to build that email list.
Yeah, there's a lot of programs out there. We did talk about ChatGPT, so I would put that in and say, hey, give me some digital products that I could offer for free as a lead magnet. Also, a lot of times I don't know what your business is, but you might be like, hey, subscribe to our list and 10% off your first service with us, or whatever it may be, giving them that offer. So again, back to success leaves clues, look at the people into the industry who are doing what they're doing, what you want to be doing, and see what, how can you show up in the world and add value to get them on your list with that approach.
Yeah, and be creative. I mean, there's 10% work. People do. I give out my children's social security number for 10% off. I feel like sometimes people will give a lot of information for that. But if you really want to gather a big crowd. So for example, one of our nonprofits last year, we wanted to build that funnel. We needed to build those leads. We did a snack cabinet away to 3 different teachers in the school district. Everybody wants to help a teacher, right? It's a food pantry. Guess what? They have plenty of snacks. This was a very low investment. We tripled the number of constituents within 1 month just by offering that. It cost us virtually nothing to do, but everybody was happy to put in their email address so they could nominate a teacher to win snacks for their classroom. So just be creative about not just what your customers want, but who it can reach and how it can grow because it's a clever hook.
One thing I have to say, and if I don't, I'll beat myself up, is do not post and ghost. If you are trying to use social media, make sure you be social about your social media. So before you do a post and after you do a post, comment on the threads of the post. Just make sure that you're being social and you're using, if you want these tools to work for you, you need to use these tools to the fullest extent.
Ladies, thank you so much for this dynamic conversation. Deidra, Casey, Stephanie, Shelly, you've got a whole fan base out here that's wanting to ask you more questions, and you'll be available one-on-one over to the side of the stage where you can ask those.